Today I'm going to do what I hope is a fun video. I was having a discussion about a week ago with a knife maker friend of mine about how I use choils to spark a ferro rod and start a fire. And he was actually surprised that I did that. And he was even more surprised that I find that I did that with some of his knives. Now, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know that when I have a knife with a choil on it and it's not throwing great sparks on the spine, I revert immediately to the choil. And the reason I do that is because I think, and I don't know, I'm not a knife maker, but I think that the choil, because it's close to the edge, because it's close to the thinness of the edge, tends to be harder in some cases than the spine. And I typically find that that is very true with custom-made knives, especially custom-made knives that are done in the brute to forge style. I've got several brute to forge knives, most of which I can't get good sparks off the spine, but I can typically get sparks off the choil. So what I'm going to do today, I've brought out all of the knives that I have that have choils or that have something similar to a choil or enough space in the ricasso area that I can use it as a choil and spark a ferro rod. From left to right, we've got the Work Tuff Gear Puzon Wilderness Bowie. We've got the Work Tuff Gear Nomad Camp Knife. We've got the Tim Ellis BX3 or Big Bad Bushcrafter. Dark Timber Knives Custom OG Grizzly, Dark Timber Knives Mid-Tech OG Grizzly, Work Tuff Nomad Field Knife, Dark Timber Knives Honey Badger, FOBOS Knives Custom MKB7, FOBOS Knives Bark River Collaboration Legion, Randall 25.6, Randall 25.5, and Vehement Knives Custom Kuto Misa. I've got this fat wood that I gathered from the immigrant wilderness. It is not as good as the fat wood that you've seen me make fires with in the past, so that should be a good test to the spark producing capabilities of some of these knives. I've got my ratty old ferro rod, which I tend to use for everything, and we'll just go through each knife and see how they produce fat wood shavings and how they spark a ferro rod. We'll test both the spine and the choil. First knife up, which I've not shown very often, is my custom Kuto Misa. I know it's not going to spark a ferro rod well, if at all, from the choil, and the reason being is Matt does something unique with his choils. He radiuses them. So you can see that it's all smoothed out in here. So it's nice and comfortable for your finger. It makes it comfortable to use, but it's not good for sparking a ferro rod. So I don't recall if the spine on this sparks a ferro rod well, so we'll find out. It is doing a good job of producing really super fine shavings. Okay, I've got a wide pile of thin shavings. With this knife, I know there's almost no way it's going to spark a ferro rod, but we'll see. Let's see. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. It's got the radiused choil, so it's just not. But the spine feels pretty sharp. First time. There you go. Okay, that was the Vehement Knives Kuto Misa. Next up, we have the Randall 25.5. Now the Randall 25.5, you can see this is completely, I mean, it's beveled here and it's smooth here. It's got this jimping in the back. This is not sharp whatsoever. However, I might be able to get something from the inside. What I tend to do is I'll tend to put it right in this little nook. Spine is not going to really give me any shavings. It's doing a little bit, but not doing it very efficiently. So let's use the blade, and just to check the spine. Yeah, spine is not going to be producing any sparks. Yep, not getting some sparks, but I'm not getting any sort of ignition. So I think that is all I'm going to try with that. Okay, this is the Randall 25.6. Similar situation, beveled spine. You're not going to get a spark off of that. We'll try the spark off of the off of the choil. I have started a fire with this before, so I know this one will work a lot better than the other. Yeah, I changed the angle. Now I'm getting the curls. Okay, this is a little bit bigger pile than I had before. There we go. That one's pretty fast. I did have a little bit larger pile, so maybe I'll go with a larger pile going forward. Now here's a knife that I've not shown before. This is the FOBOS Legion, and I've had this for quite a while. It is my cert knife, and so this is the knife that I keep on that pack for emergencies. But since it does have a choil, and it was actually designed to start a fire off of that choil, that's why it has sort of this uniquely shaped choil. That was the reason behind it. We're going to go ahead and use that choil just for that. We'll see how the spine produces shavings. So knowing that you're supposed to use the inside of the choil to spark the ferro rod on this knife, let's go ahead and use the back on the bigger pile and the choil on the smaller pile. That was pretty easy. Okay. Now the choil. You're supposed to use the choil with this. And it's got, you can see it's got this flat area right in here, up near the edge. Oh, should have been sitting down. Next, we've got the MKB7. Get some fatwood shavings and see what we can do. So I expect this will light up pretty quickly. First time. For giggles, let's try the choil. So is it the choil, or is it the shavings I made? Let's find out. Looks like it's the choil. So with this knife, not as efficient as using the choil, but I've got that notch, I don't need it. Next up, we've got the Dark Timber Honey Badger, which again is my choice for an extended backpacking trip knife. But I am not getting the shavings that I want off the spine, so we're going to use the edge. There we go. Okay, let's check out the choil. Now you can see it's not radiused like the Vehement, but right in here it's chamfered, so that's going to make it tough. There we go. Next up is the Work Tuff Nomad field knife. Oh, that should have lit. There we go. Easy peasy. These Work Tuff knives have been some of the better knives that I've used to spark ferro rods. Let's see if the choil will spark. I don't think it will. And on this, the choil is smoothed. Not so much as on the Vehement. It's not chamfered like the Dark Timber, but it is very smooth. Yeah, I'm not even going to try. I'm not getting any sparks. Next up is the Dark Timber OG Grizzly. Yep, produces great shavings. Whoops. 2 strokes and that was it. That last one I caught a little bit of the swedge as I was going down. So let's make some more. Now let's see if I can do anything with this choil. I can barely get a spark off the choil, but let's see what happens. No, this is causing me to angle the knife down to get the right angle on the edge. Next, Dark Timber Custom OG Grizzly. Now I already know that I can't get a spark off the spine on this. You can see the spine is sort of, you know, it's got sort of that mirror finish on it, or at least it had, so it's not extremely sharp. Again, from experience, I'm not expecting anything off the spine. See? Yeah, you can. I'd have to push really hard. It's just not going to happen. However, from the choil, you can see I get sparks all day. There we go. Next up is the Big Bad Bushcrafter from Tim Ellis. So the spine isn't too sharp, at least not for scraping, so I'm gonna have to use the edge. Now let's see if the edge is gonna, or the spine is gonna give us a spark. Now, as I said, most brute to forge knives, I find it very difficult to spark off the spine. Yeah, that's gonna be difficult. What about the choil? There we go. Choil wins out again. There we go. Nomad camp knife. Shouldn't have any issues with this. Yeah. This choil, it's obviously been sanded so that it's comfortable. But let's see if it's still sharp enough to spark a ferro rod. So I'm going to say a no on this one. I bet I could force it, but again, you know, I'm hitting my fingers. I don't want to do that. Last but not least, the Puzon Wilderness Bowie. In my experience, this is the king of fire starting. It rivals the MKB7 off the spine. The MKB7 might be a little bit better. I expect greatness. Huh. Oh. Wait. And it's still there, sitting there smoldering, wanting to catch. Should I help it? Nah, I don't think so. There we go. Let's see if we can get anything out of the choil. There we go. So, spine or choil, Puzon Wilderness Bowie doesn't care. So there you go. Hope you found this to be a fun video, and thanks for watching.